It's 8:30, so we'll get this
23rd or something.
meeting started. Morning, everybody. Do we have any public comments? Any public comments? Any public comments? Okay, moving on. Do we have a motion to acknowledge minutes? And it's September 10th and 11th.
So
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
I
Morning, Dwayne.
Good morning, Supervisors. It's a beautiful day in the county. We have not quite finished up Palm. They've got a little bit of dirt work left to do that we should have that wrapped up today, and then it will be, and then we'll see it and we can schedule to get the old bridge removed. Kind of a long process, fighting Mother Nature this summer, but we got it wrapped up. With the lack of rain, we had the chance to get out on the Skunk River by the Merrimack Bridge on 146 and remove the rest of the log jam that was on the north side of the bridge. Excuse me. And let's see, we've got the pipe on Ash south of Batavia, the deep pipe taken care of. So we finished the dirt work on the shoulders there today. We should start on the 136th bridge replacement with twin tank cars tomorrow. Other than that, we're scattering around, spreading rock, just wrapping up Brian Lauderman's district up by Pleasant Plain. And then we'll move to the southwest corner of the county, south of Batavia, and get that wrapped up, and then we'll finish up our rock for the season. And most of that rock will come out of, about half of it will come out of the quarry, and half will come out of the downstone, either at Downs or it's likely Selma, the garden quarry.
So you say that, I'm curious, I don't think anything got done on 110
No,
this year. Was that a plan to not do anything?
the west of you, or
East?
yeah, the town decided they didn't want any improvements on that, so we didn't do anything to it.
Uh,
Now you're talking.
Or are you talking about from, I'm talking east of Pleasant Plain, or you?
I mean,
I'm talking road.
I'm talking from the Packwood Highway to Highway 1.
Yeah, got nothing on that.
They spotted some
Yeah,
here
they
last
spotted
week,
some rock,
but
but yeah, we didn't have that lined up for the heavy rock like we did in a lot of other places. We did that 2 years ago.
I think it's been at least.
And you're probably gonna be due for a rock again next year.
Right.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yes, got a record on that, I think.
Yeah, we do. Don't trust this in dates.
Okay, number 2, discuss and consider updated resolution for wage rate and classification changes for 3 secondary road employees. We did this one last week, and apparently there was a typo or something.
Yeah, we have the total wrong on one of them, I believe.
So this is the corrected copy. All right,
motion to approve.
Second.
do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Meet with ambulance director, thanks Dwayne.
All one of that for you.
Thanks.
Hi Josh.
Hello.
All right, so far this month, we're 62 transports for between 911 calls and transfers for the hospital. Staffing, the last week we know, staffing, there were 5 applicants that we approved. So 3 of those are already started or are scheduled, 2 of which are still in the process of getting through their physical and getting that stuff back and getting scheduled, so. We're getting there, little bits at a time, but that's a huge step. Billing, I haven't looked at numbers since, last time we talked, but I had a meeting with Diana, discovered a little bit of an issue that where EMS wasn't getting our run reports. So we had to get in there and figure some things out, but they got those back and started to bill for those. So I think we went like, I don't know what day it was, halfway through August, where they stopped getting our reports so that nobody said anything on their end. So
Do you meet with her weekly?
every other week right now. Yep. But we got that squared away, so we're moving in the right direction.
Did we ever get any reimbursement on the transports or anything
For what?
on that hospital contract? Or where are we?
We're still working on that.
Mm.
Yep, still working on that. I did put out a message, I don't know what the process is to get a credit card for the ambulance service. There's a few things that are gonna be monthly recurrences or annual recurrence that, require a credit card for some reason. They won't follow what we normally do, so, what is the process for that?
Talk to Mark and we would probably need to do a formal
Okay,
approval or a letter for the bank. I think that's what we've done before.
okay.
We'd need to establish an upper limit. So what are you thinking that the upper limit would be that you'd need $1,000?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that would be plenty.
Any questions from the board on that part?
On what the credit card thing?
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
Do you think 1,000's enough?
So,
Okay.
but, all right, anything else for us?
not really. I mean, nothing we haven't already been discussed. So Permar will be here at some point to finish up the key access system. I think we talked about that. I'm waiting on approval for updated protocols from Doc Moreno. She liked what she saw so far, but hasn't got the official approval yet.
Okay.
State will be here. The Iowa Department of Public Health will be here Thursday. So I'll meet with Jacob Dodds for our 1 year kind of check in and see how things are going. And then I will be gone next week
Oh, that's
for
right.
that tactical medic class. So I will not be coming there.
Okay.
So questions for me?
Yeah, I got a couple. One, I know you've been meeting with Cheyenne, but has anything been resolved? Did we get the third denial from Medicare with the first? So I don't know if we had conversations with you or not, but when we first started, it wasn't on our end, it was on the billing company's end. They dropped the ball and didn't get the paperwork in a timely fashion to Medicare.
Right.
And so it's been my position all along, and I've expressed this to the billing company, that they need to make up whatever we lost. And I didn't know where that conversation was at. They had submitted twice and been turned down twice. And I think they were gonna try a third time. I don't know the results of that.
So about a week after I started, we put in a form. I signed a form that was basically requesting backdated from October until,
December, I think.
yeah, something like that, first couple of months. So I haven't heard anything from that since then, but I know that steps haven't been taken.
Okay.
So I'll follow up with Cheyenne again and see what she says.
So then
If she can say-
the other question, and I know that it's been, like I say, that you stepped into a difficult situation, but with the hire that we did last week, I realize one of them is part-time, but counting yourself, how many full-time medics do we have now?
Full-time medics, four full-time paramedics.
Right.
7 or 8 full-time EMTs.
Okay,
Yep.
so so we have 2 critical care, right? Ashley and
We have
Sarah.
3
Okay,
critical care medics.
but are they, what I'm getting at is that Michael, yourself, Sarah, Chris are all full-time,
Mhm,
okay? And then the new one we hired would be 5,
mhm. Well, okay, yeah,
right? Okay,
Chris doesn't really count as full-time, I think. I
okay.
don't count him as full-time. He's here a lot.
Well, anyway, my point is that we have to do whatever we have to do to make sure we're running 2 trucks all the time without exception. And I realize that that may mean some extended hours for some of those folks, but we cannot not be running 2 trucks. So whatever it takes to run 2 trucks. And I know you're working very hard and we're still, are we still listed on the items the website is needing? Folks,
Oh, I don't know.
we were
You might want to
there,
check with them, so.
Okay.
and then I know, we've got some part-time medics. I don't know how often, for example, I don't know how often Alex is able to be scheduled or, lady for Pennsylvania, but if they're willing to pick up more hours, but we gotta do whatever we can. Make sure we're running 2 trucks.
How many hours a week are they running? When you say that, I'm curious what their hours are, whatever it takes.
Well, right now, full-time is considered 2 shifts of 24 hours. But it's tough to do if you don't have at least 6 medics. To run 2 24-hour shifts a week. So if you were a full-time medic, you would run 2 24s a week, 48 hours.
So they're gonna get obviously 8 hours of overtime every time that happens.
Every 24 hours, they get 8 hours.
No,
No,
They-
24 and 24, 40.
because we work 24-hour shifts. We don't have enough bodies to work 40 on that.
But Lee, I would suppose Josh is working toward that effect.
No, I get it, but
Yeah.
again, we need to do whatever we need to do to make sure we have 2 trucks. running.
That's right. Are you get to go to school to do that?
You would not. want-
Yeah, I
Well,
did,
just
I
in
did a
case.
48-hour shift 2 weeks ago. When there was a call off. So, and then we had this weekend, we had a call off. We had to send a crew down to Eldon for the races, because we were contracted for that. So I came in to cover the races. But yeah, I mean, our staff they're getting worn out, so I'm doing what I can to
Many PRN medics do we have?
PRN medics. 5, I think, off the top of my head. So,
Just for the public, those were part-time. I don't know what PRN stands for, but.
it's medical jargon for as needed,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Well, most of those folks also work either other jobs or other services.
Yep.
Okay, anything else for Josh?
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
Let's move on. Number 3, discuss and consider Chapter 5-40 ordinance establishing the regulation of commercial wind energy systems in Jefferson County. Long time coming, and last time we waived the 3rd public hearing, and we just wanted to make sure to get plenty of notice. So this is actually the actual approval phase. We haven't changed it. Setback distances are the same as has been discussed previously, so.
Did you all have an opportunity to see it on the website or print it out or whatever?
It hasn't changed since the last time we met, so. So
Does
I
that
would,
work, does that work for you two, ladies? 3 ladies, I'm sorry, Julie, I didn't mean to leave you out.
so yeah, I'd entertain a motion to approve this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks everybody for your input. Thanks for your hard work. thanks to our assistant county attorney who guided us in this process. And does a great job with
Yeah, I don't
this.
know how many times we sent her back to the drawing board, but she is,
But we appreciate everybody's input because,
It's
You're the
nice
ones
to
that
know
are-
what you think.
yeah, and we listened.
I appreciate you dressed up for the occasion, though.
So
Not that you make
thanks,
me look bad.
everybody.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
it was between him and Caitlin Clark, I'm telling you, okay.
Okay, Caitlin's got it.
I'll see you guys.
See you later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll be.
You bet, Troy. You take care.
Thanks, Steve. Kelvin Brown. Thank you. So.
Thanks.
Your wife.
You bet.
Now, don't stop. Don't keep coming.
Don't keep coming, or you want me to keep coming?
We're gonna keep coming. Make, and always sit by lead.
See you later.
All
Thank
right,
you.
discuss and consider reappointing Becky Schmitz to Jefferson County Progressive Housing.
I
So
did
moved.
reach out to Becky,
Mhm.
she's all thumbs up on it, so
Okay,
I would make that motion.
okay, I'll second it. Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Discuss and consider liquor license for Cedar Valley Winery.
Any problem?
None at all.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Is Steve coming down?
Sarah Schneider is on instead of Ryan Smith or Sarah. Sarah is on instead of Ryan Smith
Should
from
should-
Schneider.
Steve be here? With me?
It's really our thing, but
Okay.
he's okay. I mean, he can come down if he wants.
Okay,
Hi, Sarah.
Good morning. Thank you.
So this started at an ISAC's board meeting a while back. Webster County was talking about how on their beacon system, people could go in and you could make a little chart of your property taxes, a pie chart, basically. So when I was up at ISAC recently, I sought them out and said, can you educate us on this? And apparently it's the supervisors who are the ones that are requesting this be put on the websites because it's a good education tool for the public to see at a glance what the pieces of your taxes are. And then I said, so what does it cost? So I'm going to ask you that. I know the answer I got at ISAC was a ballpark.
Yeah, let me just get in here real quick. Sorry, there was another piece that was popping up. Let me just get you the right number here. So to add on, yeah, it's $1,116 annually. That would be added onto the Beacon hosting components. And yeah, to just reiterate, it's a great transparency tool for the taxpayers. It's no different. I mean, it's the same information that folks are getting out on their tax statements. However, with that pie chart, to be able to show that distribution with all the service types and the percentages even goes down to the per dollar amount that is allocated to it, which is great. And so within the Beacon website, if a property owner, I don't think I can share. I don't know if there's permissions that I could share and show you. I just tried to share my screen and it's not.
Yeah,
letting
I
me.
think Abby can help us with that.
Okay, thanks.
Because I think it'd be helpful for us to see a
Yeah,
sample.
and let me go back to where I can share. I thought, oh, there, yeah.
She just needs to give us host back before she hops on.
So that-
Needs to give us host back before she hops off.
Okay, yeah, just remember to give us host back.
Yeah, Sure. You don't want me conducting the rest of your meeting. Yeah, so yeah, I can absolutely hop over to Webster County if that's the one that you want to show.
Well, we could do, I don't care if you want to do Jefferson.
Yeah, well, I
Or-
could.
Oh,
yeah.
Webster's already got it, I guess.
Just because, yeah,
Right.
they already have it up on there. So, like, obviously this is a similar layout and so forth. And first of all, I just want to thank you all for your continued support for Schneider Geospatial and for the Beacon product. We provide all this information out, so it's at the touch of a button, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to be able to get all that pertinent property tax information, home ownership information, and all of that. We try to make it a digital courthouse so that folks can, have an extension from your physical business there too. So I'm just doing a quick search. So I'm just going to do Miller, and then I'm brought over to this component, and let me just try to find, let's go into this property. So I'm clicking on the parcel ID. And so from here, when we scroll down, you can see the information kind of populate. So as we're pulling in all this information, the sales, similar with the valuation, the multiple years with the taxation, the link to be able to click on the property taxes for the parcel, the tax amount that's due, and then right underneath that is that my tax dollars allocation. So you can see here, the assessed value of this particular property is 276 plus thousand. And so those estimated taxes are around $3,500 per year. So then down here is that service type. So all the service types listed out, and then that percentage total in this column, as well as the annual total, a half of a year total, and then like I mentioned earlier, even that per day figure. And then your county government taxes too. And some counties choose to show both pie charts. Some counties choose just to show the property tax portion itself. But then again, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So as we see here, the actual pie chart that shows all those different service entities and their allocation in terms of that total tax.
So can you read what the difference is? Because it's kind of hard for us to see the small print.
Sorry, yeah, let me.
But it's the total entities and then there's a county option is what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah, yep, is that better? Is it a little higher? Okay, great,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Yep, so the service type in here, so you can see the the Webster County, of course, and then the community school district, Iowa Central Community College, there's a township, Dayton Township, agri extension, and TB eradication. And then the allocation in terms of the government taxes too. So then that pie chart, and then they do show both of those. And then, but some instances, like, let me just go over to Union County, Iowa. You just show the one. So let me go down to Union and show that. It's real slick for us. I mean, we could have this up and running within about 30 days once we get the approval to move forward with it. And so on some counties, they do embed it right here in the parcel report, like what you saw in Webster and what you're going to see on Union. But in some counties, they just make it a standalone tab up here at the top. So it's up to you guys of how you want to display that too. But within this, let me just go back down here and scroll. Then you can see their tax distribution too. So $138,000 assessed value, 2,300 plus yearly taxes, and then the breakdown of the service type. And so then they just, show that total property tax versus the second one too.
So on the one we saw in Webster County, did it divide the county when it just had the county standalone? How did it divide it out?
So county assessor, county all property, county township only, and then that
Okay.
eradication.
So I got a question up there. You've got listed, see if I can't see it now. But anyway, it was Creston Corporation. Is that the city of Creston?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I would think so, I guess. I don't know for certain, but
Well, because see, where I'm going with that is obviously people who live in the city of Fairfield. That should be a portion of that pie as well. as is the school district and all that, but then conversely, people who, if we're in Jefferson County now, people who are in Packwood that are living within the corporate city limits of Packwood should be able to see this. How, are you gonna be able to break that out with me?
Yeah. Yep, let me just go into an ag parcel, so we can show the difference within that. So then let me go into the parcel report of this ag parcel and then the allocation. So yeah, so here we saw that we identified one of those ag parcels, so it's outside of city limits. And then you can see the different entities for this classification of this parcel. You see that this says East Union Community School now. And the variety of different other types. And then let me just go into a different city or corporation. Let's see here. Let's go into this one over here. I'm not sure why it's not zooming in for me. There we go. Let's pick up this property and come on the report. Okay, so Lormore and then, yeah, you can see the different
Yeah.
service types. And then when you print this report, you know, from up at the top, if anybody wanted to print it off, it would obviously show up on that parcel report too. I don't know, I think, did my PDF show up? Did that show for you guys?
Yeah,
Okay, yep.
I
and so
like
then-
having it on that screen so that people
Yeah.
see it with all their numbers and because they might not know to click on the tab.
Right, yeah, sometimes it's hard to see. I mean, there's so much information up here, up at the top and, just because there's a lot of features on Beacon now. Being able to do your, tax credit, right? Your homestead tax credit, military tax credit, Iowa land records. Like I said, that truly a digital courthouse feel.
Any questions? Okay.
Nope.
All right, thanks. I guess, we will be in touch if we decide to move forward with this.
Okay, yeah, sounds great. Happy to
Thank you,
answer.
Sarah.
Thanks for your time. Have a
Yeah,
great
please
day.
remember to give us host back.
Yes, let me stop sharing. Oops.
So I just have this on here as far as meeting, so I don't have any discuss and consider, but this would already be probably part of the budget or else something we'd have to next year, so I don't know if we want to pursue this procedurally. Do we need to put a separate agenda item on another meeting?
I'll push claim host.
I was gonna say, I don't even know where I'm supposed to go. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with Zoom as I am. So you've got it?
Do you have
Are you still seeing my screen?
yeah,
See, that doesn't even show that I'm showing a screen anymore. It's giving me another opportunity to share it again. Stop. Oh, here, let me.
do you
And-
have a number that popped up?
A number? How about that? Did that work? Did that show exit off?
It still has you as host.
It wants a 6 to 10 digit.
I got it. Yep, I found it. There we go.
Got it? Thank you. Thanks,
Okay, you
Evan.
bet. Yep, sorry about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's not an inordinate amount of money, but how do I mean, how often does a taxpayer go to Beacon and look up their
I know, and again, this is just talking with the Webster
Right.
County Supervisor. He said they were able to do a lot of education with it. Because when they talk to people, when they get the tax questions, which
Right.
we all get, they're able to say, go to Beacon, look, at your property, and this is a simple summary
Sure.
visual that really help people understand it.
I'm not advocating one way or another. I just know, dealing with real estate, that people are on there looking.
Are they? Okay. Because I mean, to me, that's the key. It's not the $1,100, but if the $1,100 doesn't actually produce any benefit because they're not using the website, there's really no point to it.
So this is not on our agenda. And I think it allows us time during the next week to visit with folks.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm thinking it could be a waste of money.
Be a nice look pie chart on the bill.
I did talk to Mark about that, and it was good because he was a treasurer from another county. We literally walked by, it was at noon up at Isaac. And so he said, hey, and they do that. And so he said what it would take, he'd have to check into it. I think it might make the tax statements like legal size. So he wanted to get a handle on, what cost that would be. But yes, we talked about that, and we can talk with Mark about that too at some point. So yeah,
'Cause I'm not so sure that. I get the picture's worth 1,000 words, and no question about that.
but if we could do it on the tax bill, would that be and I don't know if you need to do one without the other, if you need this capability before you do
Yeah,
that. I don't know. That's a
Good
good
point.
question. All right, very good.
Who's this Dave Taft?
Dave,
Wake him up, he's sleeping.
meet with Dave. Thanks for being here. So I know you have a list for us.
Oh, always. Let's go over to DHS real quick, okay? The room's basically set up, but, we went from file storage to file room. So there's a difference there because it's gonna be used. So they have to be able to go over and see everything. We initially added 4 new lights and we resurfaced 2 of the others. On 2 of the ends, we need 2 additional lights, and then we've got 2 hallway lights that I'd like to replace, so that's an additional 4 lights. Altogether, I think you're gonna be around $3,000, what you're gonna have spent on lighting up there. All right? That's where I think you're at.
And does that include what we've already done, or this is an addition?
I think that's gonna be pretty close to it, is what it's gonna be. I don't believe it'll go over that. I also did a quick kind of summary of hours in which the movers were over here. Because the owner shared this with me, is that he basically charges $60 an hour man. And I did a little rough math, and it's $7,800 a lot for 130 hours of labor. And my count is that he's probably closer to 168 hours. Now, to say that it was a tough move is an understatement. It's the world's biggest understatement. Those large files that were up in the northwest corner, just in order to unload those things, required 226 boxes. You have to unload them, take them over to the other side, and then pack them back up again. And then, there was also a bunch of, books that we couldn't see that were in the, room on the south side. And we knew that there was some in there, but we didn't realize how many. They had to be moved, they had to be boxed up and moved. And then half the storage area over there on the floor had old carpet pieces. So as soon as those file cabinets hit the floor, they didn't want to go anywhere, so those had to absolutely kill themselves, to try and push them back as far as we needed to go. In order for them to estimate, it was an estimate. I think we all understood that from the They moved just over 400 pieces, average weight of probably 75 pounds a piece. And, that breaks down to about $25 a piece, or, you know, whatever they were taking over there. It was a lot of work. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you a heads up on that.
So while we're on that subject,
Sure.
this is the way my brain works, don't say a word. Don't you say anything either. Moving forward, pardon that pun, in the future, if something needs, if the court system needs to put something somewhere, they're not to put it in that basement. It's their responsibility to get it over there wherever it needs to go, if it needs to go somewhere. We're not gonna start filling that room back up again from the court.
So do we need to have a meeting with them?
Well, that may very well be the case. For them to understand that that's their location now. That anything that they need to move, you know, it's one thing to go over and look at stuff, but that. We didn't empty that out and spend this money for them just to fill it back up again.
Yeah, I think we've already done way more than we should have. Sorry.
Right,
That large room over there is packed. I ended up laying out absolutely everything over there so that they knew exactly where every cabinet was gonna go and every box was gonna go before it got over there.
Well,
I even gave them a map to show them how to unload the rooms, and then so that, you know, the last one on was the first one off, and the first one to be placed where it needed to go, and spent a lot of time over there doing that. If I hadn't done that, you know, they would have been long.
sure, and I really appreciate that. Where I'm going is that because we're spending this money, have spent this money that frankly, I believe the state should be paying for, but neither here nor there. That doesn't give them now all this space down in the basement to go back up again. That's off
Here,
limits, yeah. It's off limits, that's
Yeah,
not the courts.
can we get the key back from them? Cause they shouldn't have a key down there anymore.
I will get the keys back from them, yeah, and then they won't have access to it. So, Align Energy, David Bulmer, he's a gentleman that we were talking to about monitoring.
Yeah.
All right. They put the monitors on the transformers out there the week of September 1st. Okay. He was gonna pull them off in another week and see what they had to say, and I said, no, it's not enough time. So we put that off till November 18th. And so I think with Shannon sent out an email to everybody that if they have an incident on their computers, like with them, something not right, please let them know. So I think we've got a record and we can take care of whatever we get from them.
Well, and I think that the outage that we had that destroyed our server also destroyed our security cameras. Because from the information that I got from, or that we got from Jerry from PCS, I think we lost everything. And I don't know whether there's a compatibility that they can find out there that'll work with these security cameras or not. I don't know.
Our cameras are still good though, right?
I don't know, Abby, what you had some
And we
interaction
can
with,
log in and see if the camera's working, we don't know.
right?
It's all run through the
Yeah.
application.
So, and so as far as I'm concerned, and then this outage that we had the other day wasn't confined to here.
Right.
That it went east anyway, and I don't know how far east it went, but,
I did question him about the outages that we've been having around here, and apparently they had a bunch of branches that were getting wires, and he said that they cleaned all that up, and they're hoping that that problem doesn't persist, but, you know.
well, and if that's indeed the case, that's Alliance responsibility, and the cost to replace this equipment, as far as I'm concerned, falls directly at their doorstep, but we'd never get that. But maybe ICAP could subrogate them, I don't know. But I do think that Because those, that system went down about the same time as we lost that server, right?
Probably.
So, anyway,
All right. I also met with a guy that's gonna put sign out here for donations for the cabin. We talked about that one time.
Yeah.
And we agreed upon a location, so when they get ready to do it, I'm gonna set a road going out there so they can tell exactly where the sign is supposed to be. But if you were leaving the courthouse, and headed westerly, and they got the little garden on the right hand side with the tall grass, it's just gonna be on the north side of that at first. That's what we agreed upon as part of the best location for it, so. Clerk of court, magistrate's courtroom, that install is gonna happen September 16th. You asked me to go forward.
Right.
I also looked at that chair up there, I'll have that fixed this week. Clerk of court, AC7. Now, I went up there and I turned up the heat a little bit, I turned it from 69 to 70 and then cranked it back down to 68. You know, they like it pretty cold up there, but at our expense.
right,
So I don't know if that's something you guys wanna talk about or not.
can we put a box on that that's locked? Like we have
Well,
out
the
the attic
boxes down
space?
there that are locked, but, they have a set of keys, you know, I can take the keys away from them.
Well,
But then what ends up happening is every judge that comes in here likes a different climate in there. So they run that thing up and down, so they never return it back to zero. You
as far
know,
as I'm concerned, that's the judge's problem. I mean, once again, I don't know what it cost, but we're paying for them to do their song and dance.
yeah, I just thought, turn it up to 70 and that, you know, you should be able to live with that.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens is with these mini splits that we've got in the building, this is just something I learned last week, that these mini splits that we've got in the building, that they're most efficient at pulling condensate or moisture out of the air when the setting is between 72 and 74 degrees. And that's a little bit uncomfortable, you know, might be a little bit uncomfortable during the AC season, but in the heating season, we generally said about that. And that's another reason, like, you know, it's a large space up there where we could be blowing moisture out of that air because it's cold. We're having trouble pulling condensate out of there. So, anyway, no, like that. I invited Boy Scouts to go up the clock tower with me at some point in the near future. I don't know if you guys talked about Bagger for the mower.
Do you leave them up there in the clock tower?
Beg your
I
pardon?
said, do you leave them up there in the clock tower?
Boy Scouts?
Yeah, till the next time you take a group out, bring them down.
If you can take Lee up there too.
Yeah, no, no, I've been in the clock tower once is enough.
I'll put anybody up there. That condensate pipe repair down in the basement, we came up with a solution that I think is gonna be pretty cost effective. We're gonna open up a small section in the floor in, what is the area underneath the stairs. And we got lucky because that concrete floor that separates that room from the boiler room is hollow under there. So we're going to abandon the large pipe in place. And then just run an 1.5 line out, connect with 1.5 in the boiler room. So it's gonna be relatively simple, it's still gonna cost you, you know, between $2,500 to $3,000. Because, the pipe fitters have to, they're gonna have to mark it out, and then they've got some other work that they're doing here. There's a small leak in the boiler, we're trying to figure out what that's all about right now. It usually leaks a little bit when we start it up in springtime. The last time that the boiler inspector was here, he asked me if we'd look into it, so we're looking into it. But we're also replacing 3 of the valves that control the radiators. There's one in the recorder's office, there's 2 in the treasury office, and then repackage it down back in the vault in the reporter's office. The reason that we're doing this to the radiators is we're trying to give the people in the offices some control over the heat. Because we want the boilers to take that heat up to about 67, 68 degrees. And then if you want to dial in your comfort zone, you can do that with a mini split above that. That gives you a little bit of room to work with. We're not asking a lot of the mini splits. The boiler's making them heat anyway, so hopefully that's gonna be more cost effective. Let's go to the handrails. I met with the papers last week, showed him what we wanted. And he's gonna give me a price. So 2 handrails there. I asked him to give me a price for an additional handrail, which go down the stairs here on the east side. So that's gonna be separated out. One thing that I discovered in the stairway over here is that, is our handrails that are there aren't supposed to fly because when they reach a landing, they're supposed to extend over the landing by a foot. And right now, they stop at the top stair. So in other words, you know, if you're coming up the stairway, you get a hole in the handrail before you reach the stair. This way, you're having to reach down under there. So it's not, they're not code compliant, but they're probably gonna be grandfathered. You know, so if you wanted to leave them, you probably could. If you want to replace them, we can do that too. Lastly, we got the south entry over here. I met with the tunnel door and glass last week. They're gonna give me a bid. I did ask them if it would be possible to have that done before the election. I don't believe it's gonna happen. In fact, we will be lucky if we can do a date in November. I told them that, you know, that's kind of our drop dead date. That we'd like to have it done by then, providing, of course, that he gives us a different price. And the way that the transom would be set up, I thought of just dividing that large piece of glass into 3 even sections. I went down to the museum down there and I met with Jay. Jay brought up some pictures of the building. It showed the windows all the way up on top, which have been covered up on those little crescents. And those are just broken up into 3 pieces. So it's a little bit more in line with what might have been there. The doors themselves will operate independently. They can be locked down independently. They can be unlocked independently. And it would only be the door on the east side that would have a closer to it, the automatic closure. So they're supposed to get me a price on that, and I told them I'd like to have before the end of the round portion up there. That has to go to an outside contractor if they don't have the equipment to test it.
So I guess my question would be, if we can't get it done before the election. Well, and early voting starts when, Abby?
October 16th.
In a month.
Okay. Right. Do we want to wait till after?
After voting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understood.
No, I went through all that with him, you know, about the traffic and everything else, and we want to do it when it's low traffic.
Okay,
The
that's
one
fine.
thing they're gonna have to do is gonna be the same as they did on the north doors. They're gonna have to put up a temporary wall at the end of the day, a demo, and then tear it down the next day. And we start getting too much into November, then we got too much outside cold air that we have to try and fight.
No, I get that.
And I did go up on the roof of DHS last week, cleaned out all the gutters and trimmed the trees back away from the roof out there, so that's So we're not gonna get a bunch of, but it's still a full down, pop off. That's all I got.
Thanks. You've got a lot going on.
Yeah. That's great.
See, you got some help now,
We got what?
some help.
So we don't
That's
have,
not the kind of help I need.
Oh, okay.
we don't have a South Florida bid to consider yet.
Right.
So, you'll get the information when I get to know.
Sure.
All right. Deal with it.
All right, discuss and consider security cameras in courthouse. We all got an email from Jerry.
Yeah, and I guess until we know, I don't know how we're gonna know. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna figure it out. Until they replace something, but the replacing of something, as I understand it, they're looking to see if they could get anything that would be compatible with what we got. But then if,
Sorry,
no,
were we okay to add a couple more lights over at DHS?
this is part of the process we've already approved.
Okay, all right.
But if we,
I know that you and got model numbers off of the cameras last week,
right,
Thursday.
so I guess what we need is for Jerry, before we purchase anything, for Jerry to. My question is, so we find something or he finds something that's compatible. And so then we hook it up and we find out the cameras don't work. You, okay. Then we bought something that really doesn't do us any good unless we can get, I don't know, comparable cameras. I just don't know. And I guess my other question is, how necessary is it?
That's up to you guys.
And I do think that the insurance company needs to be notified. I think this is part and parcel of what happened before, and we just didn't catch it.
Can you notify me?
Until I have anything to send to them,
Yeah.
there's no point. If you're gonna go forward with it, I mean. If you're not replacing it, then what's the point of the insurance company getting involved?
Well, my concern is the other side of the equation. I want to know whether or not the insurance company is going to pay for replacing it before I decide whether or not I want to replace it.
But if you don't have any sort of quote,
Well, granted, I get that, but I would like for Joe to say, yeah, get us a bid or two or three or whatever. But this is just an extension of what you've already covered.
Well, you could probably just talk to Joe Benz and see what he has to say.
Yeah, ask him to come on.
So,
And in the meantime, Jerry can do some research for us. Because I don't remember exactly. Abby, do you remember what that system cost?
That's been several years, so
Yeah,
it was here.
you're looking at
Right.
7 to 8 years ago.
Now, when that technology changes, they might have a better system, I don't know.
I would just put doorbells on.
Are you aware of any security systems like, you know, we've got the cameras, that's what we're talking about in the courthouse.
Right.
And that was done 7 or 8 years ago, so would there be any different options at this point maybe we should look at?
Well, I know we were looking at our camera system replacement, it's all analog, it's old. It doesn't store maybe up to 2 weeks.
Well, maybe we should, if you're looking,
There's cloud-based, you're on a server now, aren't you?
Well, that's a
It
hard,
has an application that you log into and that's how it's checked. And it stores on that for like 3-ish weeks. And if you ever need, I mean, you know, we've worked together to pull stuff off of it before.
It's expensive. All these systems are. So, yeah, we checked with PCS too. There was several places you checked.
so you checked with PCS on the same topic.
Yes, and we had options. But we need to replace like, if it's done right, replace all our cameras.
Well,
I think we have about 60.
so does it affect our insurance as well? In other words, does ICAP prefer that we have security cameras? In other words, does it keep our rates down? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know, I can ask that too.
Seems to me as when we put those in, and again, it's been a while, there was some effort through the court system to do something with courthouse security, but that's been several years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. But and it doesn't do us a lot of good to replace all this stuff if a client doesn't fix their problems.
Right. Well, we can just keep gathering information and see what's best to do.
Yeah, and maybe Abby, ask Joe if he'll join us next week.
In 2 weeks if we don't have one next week.
Yeah, I don't know what we got going, but
I don't have anything for next week.
So we'll probably have a meeting on the 30th.
oh, we had something scheduled we had to do on the 26th.
By many hope for the road department.
Maybe we were talking about another public hearing. And didn't decide that we didn't need it, I don't know.
Looks like you approved the cameras May 8th, 2017.
See, that's been a while. Thanks, Abby.
If you have something, I don't know what it is.
Well, I think we need to talk to Joe Ben, and I think we need to talk to Jerry. I mean, I know maybe I guess we need to say, yeah, go ahead and do your research to Jerry, right? But again, what I would like to have conversation with Jerry as well, because it's great if we find something that's compatible. And then we get it and find out that what we've got doesn't work. So we bought something that's compatible to something that, and I don't know how we determine that.
It's only an assumption, so don't put any weight into it, but my assumption is the cameras are fine. If you could just log in, but you have to have the application to be able to connect to it.
Right. And after 7 years, odds are the programming, whatever's changed.
And JNS is no longer in business.
Right.
Yeah. I told you, didn't I, who that was that took over?
Access systems.
Yeah. And I don't know whether or not they would be familiar with this system or not. I don't know.
What's the story?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we'll keep working on gathering information so we can see if you find a good system and you think it'd work for us, let us know. I'm wondering if there'd be any benefit to economies of scale if somebody knew you were looking to potentially, to get a better pricing for everybody. So,
We have other things.
Yeah.
Our software programs need replay. So
all cost of money, then,
for CAD, GMS, RMS, and civil processing. And it'll integrate with the 911 app.
Mm.
So, we'll put the cameras aside right now.
Okay.
That by the end of the budget year, I think I'll have that replaced. current system won't be supported.
Well, and I think that's a conversation we need to have too, the cost benefit analysis. What's the benefit of having versus what the cost is,
Exactly.
given our restrictions. So,
Well, we can, as we go to meetings, talk to some other supervisors, see what they're doing in their courthouses. Okay, moving on, make committee reports. Friday was opioid meeting, they have a recommendation. I think I just sent you an email right before our meeting, Abby, to have a short meeting on Thursday, the
Mhm.
19th at 8:30, so we can give them a yes or a no on the spending money on t-shirts with the affirmation sayings.
Could you tell us what else they talked about as far as doing that one?
That was the focus of the meeting, the full minutes.
Can I ask Bart a couple questions?
Sure.
How was the party
Oh, yeah.
Or,
south of Libertyville?
oh, I
The
think
event,
the event.
yeah.
The musical event. We didn't have much problems. There. It was Saturday night, I believe. Well, I think some Friday night and Saturday night, I think it was Friday night, we had an accident on the gravel.
I would
It wasn't
imagine.
somebody there for the event, they were a vendor.
Oh.
Leaving for the night. I think it's scored against the Gator. The next night, I think we had an OD that ended up going to the hospital. But as for that, I don't know of anything else that really happened. So I don't know how many people attended, so should be all cleaned up by now.
so at the risk of opening a can of worms, I guess.
Going fishing.
What's that?
We're going fishing,
Going
okay.
fishing. We have an alleged or apparent overdose, then are there drugs there, and what can we do, if anything, about it?
Good question. I'm assuming it was some type of drug that was there. I'm just getting a report that it was an OD item. I don't,
Sure.
Right. I mean,
he was alert when he went to the hospital. So.
there is no county for stupidity, but do the organizers have a responsibility, legally under Iowa law? In that regard.
Somebody had told me that they had heard there was to be no drugs and no alcohol, but Narcan there. It's kind of a, what do you need the Narcan for if there's no drugs?
Yeah, I kind of heard that, yeah, they had Narcan at last year's event or something.
Yeah.
But, I thought Cider House was serving.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they had several food vendors.
yeah, but Shannon's husband's one of them, I think.
Just because you ask people not to bring drugs.
No, I know
doesn't
that's being
mean you can count
facetious,
on To not bring drugs, so Narcan's just being prepared. It's the Boy Scout way, you just be prepared.
Right. If what's true, if it's true, all I've heard from there, it was quite an event. But I don't know. It had to be very disconcerting. Because the deputies can't be down there all the time.
Well, that's, there's a good point. We've got an ordinance, whatever, we have a fireworks permit. And maybe we need to develop a permit for something of this nature as well. And one of those things that I'm thinking in there is that there's a significant fee in regards to that, and also in that they would be required to provide their own medical personnel.
Now, did I hear that they have their own, they contract with some ambulance, not ours?
I don't know.
They were well organized, they did contract with ambulance.
And that's good.
medics.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, because,
They contracted with security company for
Uh-huh.
24 hours each day, whatever, round the clock security.
Mhm.
Um, You know, they had a weather plan, they had. we
I
met
mean, I
with
think,
them.
I think it was, the event organizers probably do this in multiple locations, or multiple.
Yeah, and I don't know, you know.
But I'm just wondering if we shouldn't have a permit process that requires them to come to us
Mhm.
and to you. So that,
Mhm.
I mean, obviously you are aware of a lot of the things that they had, but you know,
Yeah. The biggest thing in my mind is the dust. Road's pretty dusty,
well, and there are some
you know.
homeowners that are relatively close that, from what I understand, if the music is loud enough, they can dance to it.
Yeah, it can be heard at quite a distance, but I think they were offering hotel stays for anybody that didn't want to stay at home.
Really?
And
And
we had plenty of contact numbers and everything. We met with one of them and he gave us a whole email list of.
Nice.
everything. Our dispatchers had it, everybody, deputies had it, so.
Well, I do know the first time they had it, like I was telling them earlier, Steve Wimmy and I drove down because I felt that it needed to be, it was assessed as ag. And it, you know, we went to see if there were structures, what was going on. If it's being used for commercial purposes, which it is, then it needs to have a different classification attached to it. But beyond that,
So did it get reclassified?
uh,
Did it get
I'd
reclassified?
have to ask him to see, I don't know. There was a home there. Nobody was living in, like I said, there was a dog tied up there and there was a single white mobile. It's all part of that. And we could see where they had been and that they had cleaned up, but the trash bags were full, they just hadn't been picked up yet,
Yeah,
and I'm not
yeah.
saying that, you know. There were some structures there, but they were not what you would call, you know, permanent buildings or anything of that
Right.
nature. And I don't, anyway. So maybe that's something we can look into, maybe it's more work than,
It'd be nice to have a conversation.
well, yeah, and I figure if they're gonna commit, we could make $5,000 on
We can put it on our list for Elizabeth.
it.
All right, you asked about what we talked about at the opioid meeting
I did.
Friday. Somebody asked what could public health do to help. There was a discussion on homelessness.
Thanks, Wade.
And we thought maybe law enforcement had a handle on homeless issues in the county. So since you're here, put you on the spot.
I don't know if we have a handle on it.
Any idea how many people are? And then, you know, the discussion was, well, are they truly homeless? Are they couch surfing? Are they, you know?
Good question. I don't have a definite number. I know somebody meeting I attended thought there was, I don't know what the number was, 40, but I don't think it's that high.
Yeah,
We
that's,
have somebody stashing their stuff under our bushes every day.
Yeah.
Really?
they thought true homeless probably, and this is the group that was at the
Close?
meeting Friday.
It's a whole bag of stuff.
What's in it, Abby?
I don't know. It's probably there right now.
It's what?
Probably there right now. He was storing his trash under there too until Dave told him to pick it up.
It's where it had any street value.
Here.
So they thought probably
Charge
6 to
rent.
10 people truly homeless and the rest. They'd said 40 to 60 at the meeting, couch surfing, car camping. And talked about the group was wanting opioid funds to be used for T-shirts with positive affirmations, sayings, and the 988 number, for the mental line. And so we'll have a short meeting Thursday to discuss and consider that. Talked a lot about an RFP. Chauncey was here, gave some good input. We really need to get some ideas from the community, so it was discussed that at this October 24th, My Ascension, which the Mental Health Coalition's putting on, they'll put out some, like a box for people to give ideas, just to start gathering ideas. But truly, we talked about, and Chauncey's gonna draft something, doing a RFP that we could send to the different groups that we know that do things, like, do we want to focus on housing for people when they leave the jail? What would that look like? I mean, do you have any opioid related projects, I'm looking at you because you're here, Bart, but
Well, we've got the one program that's in the jail. One recently that got out, actually asked for some help. And we connected him with Sarah, with CETA, and then gave them the list of meals around town.
mhm,
Resources that way. So Sarah can do a lot, I think. Includes housing, so hopefully we won't see it
Okay.
again. But hopefully, not traffic, but we do stuff like that. You know, offer those, but we don't do it ourselves, but we direct them in the right way.
So we're really trying to think more broader, long-term, big picture, Part of the thought was, should there be like a contract person hired to just deal with this? I'm just letting you know the flavor of the discussion. Of course, that's not anything definite. So the next meeting of the group will be October 22nd, which is back to the regular time. Connie brought up, the Board of Health, and I reiterated that too, and I'll look at you, since that's kind of their thing, should that be a priority that they're interested in dealing with opioid treatment, prevention, that kind of thing?
I saw an advertisement on TV this weekend, and I can't remember the name of the drug. But it is designed specifically for those who have an opioid addiction. And I think, don't quote me, but I think it's a once a month injection or something that they take. And the idea behind it, I guess, is that it reduces the cravings or whatever. My words, not theirs, but that eventually gets them to kick the habit.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that costs. You'd have to look into it. I can't even tell you what the drug is, but I guess what I'm saying is that if we're looking at trying to be proactive, is that if we have, whether it's through public health, whether they do the injections or what, that if we could provide that to some, then that's a proactive response rather than, and don't misunderstand how this sounds, but T-shirts don't cure anybody.
Right. Well, and if you look at the appendix that I've sent out a couple times to everybody on the list,
Right.
those are the kinds of things that it's really for. The t-shirts is more of a gray area, but because of the need, if that's approved, to get them ordered, that's why they wanted a response sooner than later.
You know,
Any-
Lee, that's interesting, your, that shot maybe to increase or decrease your dependence because,
Right.
but I would think somebody like public health should be involved and that's where they should get their injections. So we can track that, has Dee been in this month to get her shot? Because if she hasn't, she's not trying.
Otherwise, the hospital may want to do a program too or something like that, but yeah.
We've got public health.
Mm.
I don't-
Yep,
It just made me think of that. I just,
Yeah. all valid and good. Okay, any other committee reports? Otherwise, we'll go to.
I just want to talk about the Madison Barns for a minute. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
I did not go to the thing on Friday night, but I know they're, if you've been out there and you haven't, I know Joe was there. They're really improving the
Yeah.
attendance and stuff. It's
No,
it's
I
really
went, it
good.
was really good.
Yeah. And the other thing, the Bonnefield cabin that is progressing, I know they found some sort of thing by Winterset that they might use to improve, like a chimney
Oh,
situation,
good.
which was kind of, if we put that in the new Bonnefield cabin. But that's gonna be really nice when it's done, and those folks are on the committee are working very hard.
Yeah.
And we have a real good committee.
All right.
So, I looked this up and I'm not sure that I'm the right one, but it says medication assisted opioid addiction treatment with Suboxone. Suboxone.
That could be it.
Suboxone. Says no stigma, just care, all for $99 per consultation. Well, the consultation is one thing, but the medication helps alleviate withdrawal symptoms, reduce cravings, and manage pain, proving highly effective in treating addiction and dependency on various substances. Studies also show that this treatment method is effective for patients addicted to kratom, Kratom, and Tianeptine. So, I don't know, it's somebody's smarter than me that needs to, and I don't know. I'm just saying that to me, that's a proactive approach if we can.
I think it's very interesting.
I had Russ and not a lot going on there other than, we will be stepping away on, well, technically Wednesday is our last day, right? We're in September, and Wednesday is our last day.
It's 4:30.
4:30, okay. And I know public health has been working on some things, but also went to Libertyville City Council on the 10th. And, is that right? Yeah. Went well. Good conversation, as I indicated earlier. One of the questions that was brought up was whether or not the reduction in levies would cut services, and the answer was no. We're basically transferring the cost of operation to the 75 cents, so there would be no reduction in other areas.
So the cost would be what's moving, not the service.
Right. And so, and that was an excellent question. I had never put two and two together, if you will. So, and I'm scheduled to meet on October 1st with Lockridge, and I have yet to make contact with Pleasant, but I want to meet with them as well. And then I want to talk to the board about potentially scheduling something out, say, for example, the Cambridge building on the ag grounds at least once prior to the election.
I think that's a good idea, but we should decide a date so we can make sure we have it out there.
Right.
They're pretty busy.
Right.
But then you wouldn't have to use Cambridge, you could use the activities building as well.
Well, in as much as voting begins on the 16th, the week of the 7th, or even you know, I mean, it doesn't, I'm not saying it wouldn't be beneficial after voting starts, but I would think we would only have the conversation prior to.
Right.
Well, why don't you call out there and see what's available the week of the 7th?
Okay.
And we'll
Because
go
we don't
from there.
really have any real means anymore of getting the word out in terms of
know.
even having the meeting, but I can maybe reach out to Andy and that gives us plenty of time for him to.
Right, right. You know, and I'm not opposed to somebody from the auditor's office wearing one of those placards and walking around the square.
Well,
with
yeah,
information
yeah.
on it.
Do I get paid extra for that?
Sure,
Oh, yeah. Free exercise program?
There you go.
you get to come to the meeting at Cambridge to keep minutes.
Recognition.
Another thing, I want to do is I want to reach out to KTVO. And I'd like for them to, if I could make it work, I would like for them to come in and do an interview prior to having the meeting out there, and then maybe they could put on there.
That's a good idea.
So, anyway,
Well, you could do that the last week or the first week of September and then do the other the week of the 7th
yeah,
or
so,
Yeah, I
October.
was gonna say.
yeah.
Sorry.
And October 5th, my son is getting married.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, Brandon's getting married.
so not that day.
Huh? Yeah,
Now, where's Brandon live?
Memphis, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
he works at Hill Phoenix, as does Darren.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, so
Good.
exciting.
That
You got
is.
your suit already? And
Oh, yeah, I asked him what he was wearing. He says, I'm wearing a white shirt, a vest, and jeans and my boots. I go, I'm right there with you.
All right. We have a motion to approve $249,981.34 for claims.
I
Say
didn't catch that.
what?
I didn't catch that.
$249,981.34.
So moved.
249,918.
I'll second it since Lee hasn't had a chance to look at it.
And I'm sure he's listening.
I heard it second.
Why don't you take a little bit and look at it, then we can vote.
I already have. Joe, how many people were out in this bar?
Tony thought less than a year ago,
Yeah, it didn't seem like.
but Leon said, oh, there was 1,200 people. I said, "You know,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn the
I
meeting.
did.
I'm concerned, Joe, that I talked to, whether it was Donna or whether it was Patty. But anyway, pork producers wasn't there.
Nope, they didn't want to.
Yeah,
Okay, motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.